All right, welcome back. We're on episode 129 now. We took a break. We're back. All right, we're back. And it's kind of crazy how we are able to be here right now. That will be said in story time. And yeah, we're just doing that for you guys won't know what we're talking about. But we were making images on our audio wall here by humming.
Some
So I just
painting,
wanted
kind of.
to get another one going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump right into story time. Um, dude, should you go or should I go? Because I got a kind of a long one.
You go first, and just
Okay.
explain also why we don't have the video up last week.
Okay, yeah. So, also don't have a videographer today. And that's just for personal reasons for them. And we couldn't get anyone. So, we're here today in jackets because it is cold out as well. I don't know how cold it is in here, but it's not very warm. We have the heater on though. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like it feels like just recently we were in here with shorts and t-shirt on. Very hot out. But yeah, I mean that's just seasonal change. So, okay, we didn't have an episode out. First of all, it is good to have a break, and we have been grinding lately, I think. So, having 1 week is good because you get to reset and evaluate and just come back, right? So it's good to take a break once in a while. Not only that, but I have been, unfortunately, more ill than I would like to be, to say the least. I understand how a lot of people right now are going through a flu, and that has led to hundreds of kids around Vancouver being out of school. In fact, in one of the school districts in Metro Vancouver, 10% of the kids were missing from class, which is thousands of kids. So a lot of people are sick right now. I mean, who isn't, right? So you were sick before last episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago. So I've been really sick. I've been sick for too long that I actually had to go to the doctor for it. I was sick. I don't want to go into the details because some of it should not be shared on the internet, and I don't know if you would appreciate hearing it. So I've been sick, too sick, and I am still sick. However, I am not as bad, but I have been taking medication, and it's been very, very rough, mentally more so than physically. I've just missed a lot, and I haven't been able to do the things that I've wanted to do. And it's made me very upset. I've been, during this time, it's just been a huge struggle because every single day I've felt so shit. I've been hopping in and out of, I don't want to say depression, because I'm not depressed, but I've been jumping in and out of sad, like, moments. Like, one day I'd be super, super sad, and I'd have to literally grab myself and pull me back out again, and then I just go back into the hole, and that I'm trying to use that expression for you, but it's been very, very difficult, I'll say that, and it's just been rough. I mean, I'm still fighting it, and I think I'm getting better, but, I mean, we'll see. So, that's why, ultimately, we did not have an episode last week, and, the episode, yeah, I mean, we do want a break. It is nice to have, but I was also sick. Don't think that we won't have. You could ask Justin. He knows me. I do not like not us not having episodes just as much as he probably doesn't, because it stops us from the train that we're going on, right? Like I said, it is good having a break, but at the end of the day, it does stop our streak, really. So we won't just not give you guys an episode for no reason. Like, so, yeah, that's that. I'll give it to Justin, and he's going to tell us as well how this episode is being filmed right now.
Yeah. So also, like, just to touch on like the whole streak thing, like I don't think we've missed an episode in the last, like, probably since we've gone in person. And like, just so you guys know, like, this isn't like I have friends that are like, oh, like, are you busy Friday, or like, do you want to do something Friday? no, like me and Colin, like we literally clear our schedules for this. This is like Friday is the podcast. Like all of like
Yeah.
everyone close in my life, like in my circle, knows that like Friday I have the podcast and that's it. Like it's like school, whatever, go home, blah blah blah, and then I have the podcast. Like we clear our schedules for this, and that's why it's like really important for us because we're like taking time out of our day to
Yeah.
like film the episodes, edit them,
And that
right?
gives us
Do the
success as
shorts.
well.
Yeah.
If one of us, if Justin was, hey, you want to go partying, getting wasted?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's no podcast.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here with him right now because
Yeah.
if we're not putting in the work, then we're not putting in the work. So
Yeah. So yeah. Also, okay, so this episode almost wasn't filmed today because in my story time, basically we didn't have a computer charger. So one of the main I guess like one of the main things we record with is my computer, and basically we have a mixer that plugs into my computer, which we have a software that basically just records the audio from the mixer and puts it onto my computer as like an audio file, and then I'll take that file and make it MP3 and then put it in and then connect the video and the audio clips. But basically, I had school today and I left my computer charger in my classroom. And so right before I was packing up for the podcast, I was like, oh shit, I forgot my computer charger. So I was thinking like, okay, maybe I'll have enough like battery to like do the podcast. Like I think I might be fine. Like I'll probably have enough battery to just film the podcast. I won't have to get my charger. It'll be fine. And I was also running a little bit late, so I got to the garage and opened my bag, and I'm like, yeah, like bad news, I forgot my charger. And I'm like, okay, we'll just see how much like battery percentage like we have on the computer, and we'll see how much like time we have. And apparently it said we only have 6 minutes of battery life, so that was kind of rough. So we're like, obviously we can't film our episode in 6 minutes. That would not be a podcast. It'd be way too short. So we didn't really have any other option. Colin tried to get a computer from his parents because his mom had an Asus computer, but it wasn't the right size. Like it didn't fit the charging slot. And so I called my dad because this is like my dad's old computer, and I said, "Oh, do you have like any extra chargers?" He didn't, and then like our last scenario was just like get to the school, like go to my school, get in the classroom, and get the charger. But the thing is, it was already around like 8 or 8:30, so it was pretty late. The school is normally closed. It's a Friday night, and like the chances of the school being open are like slim to none. So like it would have been like tough to get to the school, and we're not like that far, but it's like a couple blocks, and like it's just a kind of a hassle to get there. And so me and Colin are trying to figure out what to do. Should we go to the school? Should we go to Walmart, buy a new charger? Can we call someone that has a charger? Like, we were just thinking about this. And I said, okay, like, worst case scenario, like, I'll just try to go to the school. And if it's closed, then, I don't know, we'll figure it out from there. So what we do is he has a bunch of bikes, like, right next to where we're recording. There's, like, a bunch of bikes here. And he's like, okay, take a bike so you'll, like, be quicker, obviously. And so we pull out the Colin's bike, but the thing is the tires haven't been like inflated since I think the summer, right?
yeah.
So we're like, oh shit. So like we probably got to inflate them before because they're like super flat. And then right, so basically like bikes have like two valves. There's a Presto valve and I don't know what the other one is. The one that you
This
screw
was
in.
just so stupid.
And
Like,
so basically the front tire was like all right. We're like, yeah, this is fine, but like it definitely needs to be pumped up
Yeah.
still. Like it can work, but like we still kind of need to pump it up.
the back one
And
was
the
almost
back one
completely
was
flat.
just like toast. So like we're like, okay, we need to do that one. So we started with the front one first because we're like, yeah, this will be fine. And basically because it's a Presto valve, basically like when you press the little like spout, I guess, air like comes out because that's how you like deflate the tire. So basically we turn on like we have like an air pump here. We turn on the air pump and like try to put the thing around the valve. And so we think it's like inflating, but actually because it's a Presto valve, it's deflating. And like we're like, the tires are a little flat. Like, like, are you sure like this is working? I'm like, yeah, it's probably fine. And then like we're doing this for like a little bit. Like we're holding it down, and then we're like looking at it, and the tire is like completely like flat, and we're like, oh shit, like we just fucked it up. So we're like, okay, we'll just do the back one because like it was like one of like the ones that you just turn on. So we got the back
that was
one
so quick.
all filled up. Yeah, it's super quick. It's like one of the automatic pumps, right? Super quick. And we're like, okay, we just got to figure out how to do this front tire. So I search up a video on YouTube, like how to inflate tire with press the valve. And basically, you need like an adapter over top. Like you need like a bike pump basically with an
Yeah,
adapter.
I never noticed I had this on my bike because I
Yeah.
hadn't inflated the tires.
Yeah. So we're just like, we're like, shoot, like we can't take the bike. It's gonna be delayed even more now, and it's gonna be super late when we start recording. And so I'm like, all right, it's fine. So Colin has a little like Razor scooter here. It's probably pretty old too. Like
It's old.
It's old, right?
It's probably 6 years old.
6 years. So like that's
Probably.
pretty old. So I take the
5
scooter and I'm
maybe.
like, you know what? Like, fuck it. Like we'll just take the scooter. I'll try to be as quick as I can, and I'm off. So he opens the garage door and I get on the scooter, and the first thing is like, basically like with old scooters, like even just the shitty like Razor scooters, the handlebars are like never normally like aligned. Like sometimes like so the wheel will be straight, but the bar is like
Maybe
turned
crooked, yeah.
sideways. Like they're not like calibrated or something.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as I get out, I'm like, oh shit, like it's like crooked. Like I'm like this, standing on crooked, trying to go as fast as I can, right? And also, I'm trying to be fast because, like, I don't know if the school's even open. Like, it's already probably around 8:30, and I'm like, the school, like, there's probably no chance that it's open. Like, the only chance that I can get this charger is if the janitor's there, and they'll probably leave pretty soon. So I'm, like, whipping down the hill, pushing as fast as I can on this, like, sideways, like, scooter. But, you know, I'm making it work. I get to the school, and all the lights are off. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, this might not be a good... Like, I probably won't get the charger. Like, we won't have an episode. And then I'm, like, going around, like, the front. And I see, like, one of the lights in the gym is on. And, like, the hallway lights are on. And so I walk around. And I'm like, go to the office. Like, where you, like, go in. Like, the main entrance. And I see, like, there's a basketball. Like, the scoreboard's on. And then I see a janitor. And I'm like, hey, like, please let me in. I'm, like, banging on the glass. But he didn't really see me. So I pressed we have like a wheelchair entrance thing that will like automatically opens the doors. And I press that thing and he sees the door open. He like peers around the corner and he sees me and I'm like, hey, like, can you please let me in? Like, I forgot my computer charger. Like, it's really important. It's in I know what classroom it's in.
Did you say that? It's very important. Like,
Yeah, I'm like, it's really important and it's in the classroom. He's like, can I please grab it? And he's like, oh, yeah. So he lets me in. He's super clutch, opens the classroom. I get my charger. And rush back here on the scooter.
And you had the Razor scooter the whole time?
The whole time. I was just, like, pushing up the hill. And then I, like, sling it over my shoulder, and I start, like, walking up the hill with it. So, yeah, I ended up getting the charger, and it all worked out perfectly. So
Did you start moving into the gym with the scooter?
Into the scooter? Nah. That would have been fun. But there's, like, a whole basketball program going on. They have, like, a club. I used to, like, do it, but I guess they had it with like a couple guys, like it's like training sessions. So they had those on like just in time. So
they had people in there?
Yeah, so they had people in there. So even if the janitor wasn't there, I probably could have gone to the thing, but I probably wouldn't have known that they were in there. Yeah, they probably didn't have a key, but anyways, ended up working out and we got the charger so we could film. So yeah, that's great. But yeah, so on to like my actual story time. I'll pull it up here. But this week, had lots of tests and stuff. I had 2 tests like today, like literally Friday as we're speaking. But I had a physics test first block, and it was pretty rough. Like physics, my teacher is like he's a really nice guy. Like he's this Romanian guy. He's super chill and like very nice. But like he has a very thick accent, and like a lot of the teachers in my school, like pretty good teachers. Like they'll put like we have like a Google Classroom, which is basically just how they like. Teachers will post like assignments. Okay, this is due today, tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And they'll write announcements for the classroom. And basically this teacher just not put like any of that stuff. Like probably like he's not active in it. Like every like probably once a week you'll put like, okay, we have a test this day. But you'll never like really know. Like it's always like late and like he doesn't really post the notes that you do in class or like he doesn't specify what's the test on. And yeah, I had it today. And yeah, it was alright. It's pretty hard, but like I'll see. Like they'll give you marks even if you get the wrong answer, but if you get like if you do the right like steps, kind of like
okay,
you have to
like
find
half a mark or something.
Yeah, so if you're doing like projectile motion like equations, you have to like separate it from like the x and y axis. Okay, so the acceleration on the y axis would be negative 9.8 because like the acceleration due to gravity, and then you basically just like solve and find and. Yeah, it's pretty brutal. But so I had that today, and then I also had a philosophy test, which was on categorical syllogisms, which is basically just like you get two premises. So like, the podcast boys are cool. Justin is a podcast boy. Ergo, Justin
Oh,
is cool.
we did that in math. That's called
Yeah.
what was that called? That was
Like
such an easy.
statements
It
and
was such an easy unit. It was something functions. I don't know.
yeah. And then there's like one that's like the other one is so it'd be like
Did you do the game
if
show?
then nah
Yeah.
it would be like if and then so it'd be like if Justin is a podcast boy then he is cool and then you affirm the antecedent so Justin is cool therefore he's a podcast boy so
Yeah.
that would be like
What class
what it
was
was. This is for philosophy.
Okay.
And it's like a logic unit. It's kind of confusing, but it's like it's pretty fun. So it's not like I don't mind philosophy, and I think it's a good course to take. So
Yeah,
yeah.
we did that in math, but it was like also a game show. So it's like you have 3 cards.
Mm.
2 are like goat. 1 is Lamborghini. You
Mhm.
pick one. The game show host says, "Are you sure you want that one? You can switch." Talking about how you have a better probability of you switching and getting the car because he's asking, "Are you sure you want to switch?" And if it was the Lamborghini, he could have just. But that kind of gets into like you're not really dealing with math anymore because
Yeah.
then you would say, "Well, the game show host is just fucking with you." Like you're not gonna.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what math. Sure, you might. Yeah, you have a better chance of getting it. Sure, but you have a better chance. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because it's a game show host. It's not based off of math. Like
Mhm.
you have a guy there fucking with you. Like it's not.
Yeah.
So it's not that simple. So yeah.
And like mine shows like, are you sure you want to do
Yeah,
that? And
like,
then you like
What if it
second guess
is
yourself.
the Lamborghini? You're fucking yourself over. Like,
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, had a bunch of tests today, and then this week was actually my birthday. So on November 17th, is my birthday, and then I got my L. So basically, I woke up and I skipped like my first block to go write this test. And basically, so you go to like ICBC and you go write the driver's test. So I got there. My test started. I was supposed to be there at 8:30, I think, and you have to be there 15 minutes early. So it was like 8:35. So I got there like 8:20. And there's a big line of people, and then they asked just like, oh, okay, does anyone have like a booked appointment? Which I did, because if you don't book it, like it's literally backed up. Like it's so hard to get in if you don't have like appointment. So I had an appointment booked that I'd booked like months in advance, and then basically they give you like a little, kind of like McDonald's. Like they'll give you like a little number. So mine was like C669, and they'll sit you down on the table like at the I don't know waiting area, and they'll call you up. And basically she just called me up and she just explained the test. And the one thing that I didn't know, which is kind of surprising for me, is like you have to pay to like write the test.
Yeah.
So you have
It's
to pay
like
$10
$15? Yeah.
to do the thing, and then $15 to take like a vision test after you like pass the test. So I go to the thing, and she basically just explains the test. So you have 50 questions, you have to get 40 right, and then you do it on this little like touch screen thing. So she gives me the things, tells me to go to the booth, which is really weird. Basically, you're standing up, like it's like you're not. I thought you'd be sitting at a computer like with a mouse or something, but it's just like a touchpad screen thing, facing towards the receptionist people, so they can tell. Like you're not allowed to use your phone. They could tell if you're cheating because they basically be right over your shoulder, kind of. So, it was really weird. I thought I'd be sitting down, but anyways, for the most part, it was pretty easy. I studied. There's like an app you can get on your phone, and I studied that. Got 100% like 3 times or something, and then yeah, so it was pretty easy. I got.
Everyone's is different, I believe.
Yeah, there's basically, I think there's a total of like 250 something, like there's a bunch of questions, I'm pretty sure, and they'll just cycle like which ones they give you.
Yeah.
So basically like the strategy going into it, like this is what like the instructor said and this is what my sister told me, but like if you don't know a question, like skip it, because what happens, there's a pretty like long list of questions, so if you skip a question and you do all the other ones before that, you can like you'll redo the skip ones and then you could skip it again. So you can skip each question up to 2 times before you actually have to like answer it, like until you don't have any skips left. But yeah, so I got like the first couple ones, and then at the end I had probably like 10 or something skipped. And basically how the test works is like as soon as you get 40 right, like you're done. Like you don't have to do the extra 10 questions if you got all of them right.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting 3 wrong, so I got 43.
What were the ones you got wrong? Like
So
how is black ice formed or something stupid?
one of them was like it was like a double left turn. So there's like a signal. Basically there's like a two-way left turn thingy. So you can turn like either way. You
Yeah.
can turn left from like going this
Is
way
that the
or
one
this
that
way.
the arrows that split off?
But basically, it was like a ferry terminal lineup. Basically, there's probably like 5 different lanes, and then I was asking like, can you cross over this line? Can you drive in this, or like, can you turn left? It was something like weird like that. And then some of them I just had no idea, and then some of them it was like between like one or two. So it was either this one or this one, and I guessed the wrong one. But it's multiple choice too. So like even if you don't fully know, like you'll have a pretty good chance of like just
Yeah.
guessing it right. And a lot of it's like basic logic. Like if you think like, okay, so like, one of the questions is like, this one's not really logic, but it's like, what affects your reaction time the most, like while driving? So it's like
Drinking.
tiredness, alcohol, which
Yeah.
is what's right, and then there's like a couple other ones, as well as just basic like knowledge and stuff. And then after you complete the test, I sat down for like 30 minutes. Like for some reason it took so long to do the vision test. But then they did a vision test. They basically you just wear these like big goggle things, and there'll be like lights flashing on your right. There'll be lights flashing on like either side, and like, okay, where's the light coming from, like right or left? And then they do one with like different signs. So there'll be like 6 different signs, and one will be like closer to you, and one will be further. And she's like, which one's the closest? Which one's furthest? And then that's pretty much it. And then you just pay $15, and you get your L and your little license thing. So. Yeah,
You take a photo?
yeah, okay, my photo is so bad. I like, basically, so my hair is like kind of like in my face, like a fringe type thing. But she made me like move
What?
my hair
Oh,
like
yeah.
out of my eyes. So my hair looks so whack because I
Yeah.
just like pulled my hair apart, and she kept like getting mad at me. She's like, no, your hair can like, it literally cannot cover your eyes at all, because that's how they're like supposed to identify you. It's like, fuck. So I know I look so goofy, but I'll get the card in the mail, and then I'll really see how dumb I look. But
Did you guys, when you have to take a driver's test for N, you should do it intoxicated.
yeah, I've seen that. It's like do it high so that you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that you can. Yeah, maybe a good strategy. Maybe I'll do that when I get my N. But yeah, so basically I have like a year until I can write my N test.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then this week also, so after that I had like I went to breakfast with my dad, so I missed even more school, but it's fine because we had like an assembly or something, which I just missed. So yeah, I went to breakfast, and then I had a soccer game that same day. Like for the banner, there's basically like 2 teams on the North Shore. So there's the winner of AA, which is my school, and the winner of AAA, which is basically just like a league above us. And they basically play for like the winner of the North Shores. And my team we scored first, but then we ended up losing. They were actually a pretty good team, and like all their goals were really good. But yeah, we ended up losing that game, unfortunately. And then my dad, like, he's like driving, and he just pulls over like into the parking lot of the school, and he's like, get out. He's like, you have to drive. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? So like, I'm sitting here
Why
like
did you
this.
just, so for something for you to do?
Yeah,
Oh.
he wanted me to like try driving. So I get in the front seat, and like I didn't know this about like driving, but basically because that engine's like so powerful, like if your foot cannot even be on like you don't even have to touch the acceleration, you'll just be moving forward, like you'll be creeping
Yep.
forward. And it's so like I was not used to how like sensitive it was. Like you'll like barely touch it, and it will just like speed up like so much. So I was getting used to like the braking and the acceleration and like all that stuff. And then he tried to like get me to park and like turn and stuff. So yeah, hopefully I'll be driving like more, and just like I think with practice I'll get better, and obviously like more confident to like drive on like actual streets and like maybe then the highway and all that. But it's just very like it's scary, honestly. Like I never really realized how like it's scary. There's so much stuff you have to do. Like you have to check your mirrors every time you like turn the lane and like indicate, and like I don't know, so many rules and like 4-way stops.
Were you
and-
scared?
Yeah, I'm like I was only driving in a parking lot, so I wasn't that like.
What was your first like
scared.
reaction of like driving, and how did it feel?
It was like it felt like fine. Like it felt kind of natural, because I mean obviously like if you play like racing games, or if you do like I don't know, even like go-karts or something like it's pretty like acceleration brake, like gas brake, you'll kind of like figure it out. But I just to me it was so weird how sensitive it was. That is what I
Mhm.
wasn't used to. Yeah, and there's also just a bunch of different like nuances you have to learn, and the how big your vehicle is. Like my dad's like you'll have to get a feel for like the car. Like the more you drive it, you'll see like how wide it is, and like if you can fit into this spot and not, and like if you're gonna hit when you're turning, like how big it is. But yeah, it's I think over practice I'll just learn and stuff. So yeah. So other than that, that was pretty much my whole story time. So yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go on to topics now, and Justin's got something for us here.
Yep.
What is this?
So basically in Buffalo, they're going through like a crazy snowstorm right now, and basically, they're expected to get 6 feet of snow in Buffalo, and basically they can't practice, as obviously they have 6 feet of snow in the whole stadium,
That's so much.
and it's crazy. So there's a bunch of memes going around of basically like, it's like players under 6 feet in Buffalo, and it shows like just like snow like covering the
Above 'em.
field. It's like the guy like some like guy who's like 5'11" after he scores, and it's just like his hands poking out the snow. But yeah, so Jackson told me about this in school, and I was like, damn, like I didn't know that they had that much snow. But yeah, so I'm gonna read this article here. It just kind of explains it. So it says. Buffalo, New York. Bills coach Sean McDermott did his best to keep things light amid the heavy snow falling outside his window and the disruption to Buffalo's schedule, most notably forcing the team to play its home game against Cleveland at Detroit on Sunday. Yes, I want to get that out there once we get through this, McDermott said Friday during a Zoom call from his home, noting he might have shovel duty later in the day. I think the family is upstairs on calls with my folks checking in on us. So yeah, that's all part of the human part of this. And then from their PR team, it said, today's practice has been canceled due to weather. Bills players and coaches will meet virtually. So, yeah, they had to cancel their practices. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know. It's just crazy how much snow they got. Like, I'll try to get some of the images up on
it's
here,
the
but
East Coast, so they're gonna have.
yeah. Like, if you look on their Twitter and their Instagram, their whole field is basically covered. Um, yeah, so yeah, that was just a short little topic there. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So the World Cup is gonna be this morning, as of date of published.
Mhm.
And yeah, it would have been this morning at 8 a.m. Qatar versus Ecuador. I think Ecuador will win, but there's so many problems with the World Cup this year in specific, and just in FIFA in general. I want to go over a little bit of it. So I think even the FIFA president has said the World Cup should not have been in Qatar this year. It's just not worth the money. They pay a crap ton of money, so they can compensate with the fact that it's not in the summertime. It is in November and December. The final is going to be in December because it's Qatar. You're not going to play in 45-degree weather in the summer. And the accommodations with Qatar and their country, with anti-LGBTQ, non-alcoholic stuff. So the FIFA president just said like this week, yeah, it wasn't worth it. Because you gotta sacrifice so much. I think the reason about LGBTQ thing that came about because someone was like, it was on Twitter saying, "Can we bring gay flags in the stadium?" First of all, why would you want to? And another reason is like, because it's a more westernized country when it comes to the Middle East, but it's still not 100% like Western, right? Right? So you're still gonna have things that aren't perfect and like how we are. But they have like, I think, interesting choice. They've had a bunch of people back and forth on Twitter saying, "Are you guys gonna have alcohol served?" And they've been saying yes, no, maybe so. They finally said no alcohol will be served. Now a bunch of blokes are like, "Oh, no alcohol." Dude, it's actually might not be a bad thing because look what happened to those English fucks at Euro. They're sticking fireworks up their ass. So they will have no fuckery at Qatar. Zero fuckery will be acceptable. They'll shoot you on the spot. This is not like this is not something that should be taken lightly. And I just think that it's I could be a good thing. You're not because people don't need alcohol like to survive. All right.
Mhm.
Well, you don't like so.
Yeah.
You can live without beer, and the people that are gonna get intoxicated, there's not gonna be any of that because of this. So I think that this is a good thing overall. So I mean, yeah, it could save people's lives. And yeah, um, there's that. FIFA are bending the rules a lot because of um, money. They're talking. If Qatar wanted to make it 100 minutes for a full game. That's ridiculous. They have it's gonna be hot, like 30 degrees, 29, 28, like around there. Um, and they're gonna have AC built in on the seats in the stadiums. Um, so that's interesting. But in the first few days of November, it's gonna be like 30 degrees, something like that. But in December, it'd be like I don't know, mid to late 20s, not that bad. Um, and so teams like Ecuador have been cheating, and they don't get kicked out of the World Cup because they have enough money. And actually, there's a lot of corruption involved in FIFA that I did not know about. How Qatar actually gave FIFA money under the table to specific people to get the World Cup. So it's just not very clean, and it's not very. I mean, they can do whatever they want, but it's not. Is it worth it? Like, probably not. And it hasn't been because even the FIFA president has said it's not been worth it. And people are getting injured because it's during the regular season.
Yeah.
In the FIFA World Cup during June, July, there's no games going on, like in anywhere really for soccer. So that's a great way to have World Cup because you're not getting injured. The France team, many players have been injured and aren't going to come to the World Cup. There's been several Canadian players as well. Two of Maxime Crépeau broke his leg in the MLS Cup final against LAFC, which that team won. And Daniel Henry he made an incredible sacrifice. He was training with the team and he got a calf injury. When asked, can you come and whatever, he had a 14-day period of recovery. He could have probably made it and could have probably came onto the team and played. However, he said, well, I might not be at the best of my ability. So he gave his spot in the World Cup for someone else because he thought he would not be as good. To me, that is very heroic and a lot of sacrifice, and that means a lot. For you to do that, you're missing the World Cup. He's still there, like with the team, but I don't think he'll be playing. Alphonso Davies got injured, and he barely made the recovery just in time, and he made it to Doha, Qatar today. And now the whole team of Canada is in Doha, Qatar, and they had a cat. There's a bunch of stray cats that came onto the field, and they got a photo of one of them, and they're like, they said squad update, new, starting 11 cat, and then they have a photo of it. It was a cute cat. It was a funny photo. But like the hashtag they use, it's like we are Canada.
Yeah.
Someone put we cat, and then like someone was like, oh, Belgium's gotta be scared now, and like stuff like that. There's been a few injuries. With Maxime Crépeau, he broke his leg and he got off with a golf cart and he was like clapping and saying like, "Let's do this, like let's go." The backup keeper you heard about this? So basically, as soon as he came off, Philadelphia scored, and then they had put Christian Bale on. No, sorry, Gareth Bale. Christian Bale is not fucking Batman. Gareth Bale. They put Gareth Bale on, and he scored. So it went to, it was already in extra time. So they went to penalties. Now this goalkeeper saved 2 penalties. The guy that's been subbed in for Maxime Crépeau. So he won the game for them, and he got man of the match, MVP. That is not typical to have like a sub goalie in, let alone give him an MVP. So good on that guy. Maxime Crépeau, not coming to Qatar, unfortunately. Second string keeper, very good. Yeah, it sucks, but it happens when you have regular season with World Cup. Shouldn't be a thing. And Ecuador cheating, giving them money to stay in the World Cup. Iran, controversial, we talked about that. And the fact that Qatar's in it. I don't know, dude. What do you think?
Yeah.
Anything you want to share? I'm just wondering, was it worth it? I
Yeah.
think strongly no.
I think also like right now people are saying, "Oh yeah, it's not worth it," because they're seeing like all the negative parts of it. Like we haven't played any games yet, and so I think
Yeah.
once it actually kicks off, and
They could get used
everyone,
to it and all that.
yeah, and we start watching the games, then people say, "Okay, now it might be worth it." But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it is weird for them to bend the rules so much to actually have, right, like a host country, and like for them to like do all this stuff with like the non-alcoholic beer and play in the actual season. And yeah, I think it's pretty interesting and just like a different approach. So I mean, who knows? Maybe it could be good, maybe it could be bad. But for what we're seeing right now, it's just not the best.
It's
But
not looking great. Yeah.
but I guess okay, I'll go into my topic here. This kind of just relates a lot to basically exactly what we were saying about the non-alcoholic beer. So my dad, he went to the 2006 World Cup in Germany, and he said like one of the things that he was like expecting to see is like obviously it's in Germany. He
Beer.
thought that yeah, Germany, like there'll be some good beer, like
Yeah.
that's like kind of what they're known for, And because Budweiser sponsors like the whole event, it's only Budweiser. So because Budweiser is sponsoring the World Cup, they have non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah.
And so like again, I think this is like it's just weird. Like again with like bending the rules and stuff. Like I mean, it makes sense. They're the sponsor. They're trying to get their money. But like, will anyone actually buy this? First off, like non-alcoholic beer. I think the point of drinking, for most people, is to get drunk. But like, I don't know, having non-alcoholic beer, like, it's just I don't know. One of my friends who's British, he was talking about. He's like, yeah, no beer at the World Cup. Like he's like it might be rough for like all the English blokes. So like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's like a lot of them like
Fuck
it
them.
creates. Yo, might clip that, but he said like a lot of it is like when people get like wasted and stuff, like the energy goes up and
Yep.
people get like.
That's true.
But
More
and
hyped.
it brings more hype and
Yeah.
like almost community in a sense, because if
Yeah.
everyone's just like I'm at another football game, like, when people get wasted they have more fun and they like enjoy
Yeah,
the
I guess
event
so.
more. So I think
But
that like
it could be bad at the same
yeah,
time.
at the same time it could be bad, like everything in moderation, right? Like
Yeah.
kind of like a double-edged sword. But I think
Yeah.
that like it could be bad because again, like there'll be like just less people will be less like engaged and it won't be
Yeah.
as like
More distraction.
fun, right? And I think also like not having alcohol at the World Cup, like people kind of expect to have like fun, right? Like if people are not from Qatar, which probably a lot of them aren't, like coming in from different countries around the world, coming to like watch their team who made it into the World Cup, like come to have fun. They come on a trip, right? They'll get a hotel and maybe like they want to go get wasted at the game, like you know what I mean? So I think I don't know, interesting choice on their half, but yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Going to another topic here.
Yeah, so on to with the World Cup kind of news we got going on here. There's a lot of speculation about what the World Cup song could be for 2022.
Is it Speed? Is it Shakira?
Yeah, I saw there's like tweets saying like, yeah, Speed might get his song in the World Cup. All right, so the song of the World Cup, the official song of the World Cup is Tuku Taka, which is
Horrible.
yeah, we listened to it before the podcast, and me and Colin both looked at each other and were like, "What is this?" Like, it's almost like they tried to do like what Shakira did, like Waka Waka,
They
but
did the hips thing.
Tuku Taka, but it's like, it's just kind of weird.
Waka Waka Tuka Taka.
So,
Tell me that's not.
It's kind of like a bit of a ripoff, and they have Nicki Minaj and J Balvin.
It doesn't even say he's there.
I know, it's kind of weird.
Why?
But it's kind of weird. Like, it's not like, I guess, what fans are used to, and it's just kind of like strange. Like, honestly, if they used Speed's song, I think it
Maybe
probably could have been.
Yeah, but he's like.
Yeah,
he
it's
didn't
Speed
say
also too. Like,
If he tweaked it a bit, just a little bit to make it serious, definitely has potential. I mean, you say Croatia instead of Croatia. You say Uruguay instead of Uruguay. Stuff like that will make it so that maybe you'll have your song.
not in
featured.
the World Cup, but for the most part, like from the comments that we were like checking out, it's pretty
They're
well.
all positive.
Yeah,
like,
it's pretty well received, which I was surprised because I thought.
it's the internet. Like.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously they could like, negative comments will take down. You know what I mean, or like filters or something like that. But
That is a thing for you.
yeah, from like what the comments say, it's pretty well received and
How many
stuff.
people commented? 10,000.
I think 19,000. Quite a bit, but like I don't know. Me personally, like I didn't love it at first. It kind of grows on you a little bit, but it's just kind of strange, I guess, and that's like the only word that really describes it. But
Yep.
so yeah, that's pretty much I think all we got for our World Cup sort of segment. So yeah,
Okay, I guess I'll go. I
yeah.
guess it's my turn. All right. Well, I wanted to talk about the incident in Vancouver surrounding the RCMP and the police force. That happened at McDonald's with the girl that's been all over the internet, getting abused by police. And there's a lot of misinformation going around, so I kind of wanted to talk about it and share my opinion on it.
Mhm.
So the initial video that had made it go viral, was a video that was posted on Instagram, talking about how, and showing a police officer abusing, a teenager. I don't know, how old is she? 15?
Yeah,
14?
15.
15, 14, and she was basically getting abused. She was being roughhoused around and getting arrested. So I'm like, oh, great. Okay, so I start to read the caption. To summarize it, basically, they were saying that the McDonald's workers in which they were in had saw them and thought that they were somebody else, somebody that had been in there and caused trouble on Halloween night. So they immediately call the police, and the police come, detain them inside of the McDonald's, and pretty much say, you guys aren't going anywhere until we figure this out. They got their information, people weren't complying, things led to that to happen, and they weren't really, from the story that I heard, from that perspective, from that side of the story, they weren't doing anything wrong until that happened. The police, no, not they weren't doing anything wrong, and then the police acted like that. And it was just they were arrested and bullshit apparently.
Mhm.
So I read this and I immediately thought, like no second get, I was like, okay, wow, this is a lot. There's a group of 10 kids, roughly, that are all teenagers, talking about how they didn't do anything and how the police are abusing them. That's a bit far-fetched to me when you have that many teenagers that are, it's teenagers. You're going to have a bunch of police doing a bunch of, getting involved with them. I don't know these kids. They could easily be bad kids. They could be bullshitting, and they could have done some fuck shit to the McDonald's, and they're like, oh, we didn't do anything. Why are you abusing me? Kids nowadays are like that. So I'm not jumping to any conclusions, but I'm saying that could easily be the case, and that they could just be bullshitting. So I was like, okay, well, if everything that they have said is true, then this is a very fucked situation, and I feel very sorry for the individuals that had to go through this. And I immediately see people online that I know that are reposting, like, oh my god, this is terrible, this is horrible. It's very shocking to me that you people that are sharing this online, that are not aware at all, they're only getting one side of the story, and you guys are posting it on your story saying, this is horrible, this is bad, fuck the police, all this bullshit, when you guys don't know what really happened. You're looking at what happened from one side of the story, and it's something negative. If I went on Instagram and said I got assaulted by a police officer, and let's say I had some bullshit video, all right, let's say it's just out of context, right? That could easily blow up, and people would be sharing it. You know how much of an idiot if I did that on purpose, I'd be laughing, be like, look at all these idiots doing this. Like, that could easily happen nowadays. I feel like it's so easy because of this, and I'm still not pointing any fingers. This could all be true, but I'm just saying it could be. Should never believe anything you see on the internet without full evidence, right?
Without even questioning it too, because like
Yeah.
you never know like the sources, like how, like the context of it. Like obviously there's two sides to every story, and like who knows why they got called in there and
Yep.
like for what reason.
Yep.
But I mean, what happened, and like I think a lot of the
Yes.
time you just have to use your own deductive reasoning about like what you
Yep.
think happened, and just I don't know. You should like listen to like what everyone has to say, but at the same time like just be like mindful of that so you're not like jumping to conclusions.
Yeah.
I think.
So for you people that are sharing this online without any context but that, I think that's a bit stupid of you. What has happened with the damages, that sucks. Either way, like it doesn't matter what happened. It sucks that they got hurt, right? Violence, is never something you want to turn to, especially with police. And that's the thing that police do. They don't want to go to violence. If it comes to violence, that means there's something wrong, like seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So the RCMP have came out online and have actually put this to light because there's been so many complaints, and this has been all over the internet. So they talked about how, well, first in the article, they talked about how this wasn't exactly true. There wasn't anything involved with Halloween. They were talking about how a whole hour before this incident became a thing, the kids in there were being destructive to the McDonald's and wrecking shit. So they called the police because of that. They weren't calling the police because of some girls or some guy that was falsely accused. No. The RCMP came out and said that this is what happened. Now, this is factual because they have video evidence of this that they have from the McDonald's. The RCMP have gone in there, or the police, whatever, have gone in there, scoped out the footage, got the footage, seen what really happened. So they're saying that never happened. What happened was these kids were fucking around in the McDonald's. They were told to stop, didn't stop. They called the police, and this has put ourselves into the situation. A bunch of the kids were swearing when they might not have, a bunch of the kids were swearing when they probably shouldn't have. And eventually they started to actually assaulting the officers, and that's when this happened. So some parts of the initial claim of the victims were true, but very much was it not true. So, guys, this is what I'm talking about when you have to not believe everything you say.
So I'll just basically give the context. So in this article it says RCMP responded to a criticism for community members after officers violently arrested a black teen girl at McDonald's this week. In a video of the November 15th incident shared by one of the girl's friends on Instagram, officers appear to slam the girl into the drink machine before handcuffing her. She didn't do anything. Why are you arresting her? You won't give us a reason, one of her friends say to the two officers as they hold the girl by the arms. Outside, the girl is seen vomiting in the street while she is being detained. She also shares a photo of the bump on her head after the impact. Vancouver RCMP said in a news release Thursday that this girl repeatedly kicked an officer and she was arrested for assaulting a police officer, obstruction, mischief, and causing a disturbance. She also allegedly gave the officers a fake name when asked. Officers were called to the restaurant over a report that a group of 10 to 12 teens was swearing at staff, making a mess, and refusing to leave. Responding officers arrived to the group aged between 13 and 15 still inside the restaurant. When officers asked them to leave, some of the youth refused and continued to swear and yell at them. On Instagram, the girl's friend had a different story, saying the group was eating and staff mistook one of them for another youth who was in McDonald's on Halloween. This was the RCMP. Do not let them get away with this. This is their job, is literally to protect us, and all they do is hurt us, is what one of the girls said. Police say the viral video only shows part of what happened, and that they're in possession of full security footage from McDonald's. They didn't release the footage, however. We are aware that a brief portion showing the end of the incident has been widely circulated on social media. We have obtained video surveillance that shows the entire incident, and while our investigation continues, our youth support unit is taking next steps to work with youths and their families in partnership with the Vancouver Restorative Justice Society. I can tell you that the officers did not know any injuries or after their interaction with the youth, and there is no information showing that the youth requested medical attention. Many people have commented expressing support for the girl and slamming police for excessive use of force.
Yeah, don't do that. So, now I'm not taking any side to this. I want to make that very clear. This could all be bullshit as well. The RCMP and there's been many different municipalities in Vancouver have their own police, and and I'm not going to go into any detail, but I have experienced police, not brutality, but the police that I haven't dealt with it personally, but very close people of mine, I have, seen police deal with them, and a lot of the time they're not very fair because they take advantage of the age. They think that the kids don't know any better, so they can do whatever the fuck they want. So I'm not taking a side with anybody here, but if you are making a mess at McDonald's and you're fucking around and you get told to leave, you leave, okay? So you got I sound like a Karen there. So if you're fucking around and you get asked to leave, leave. And then if the police come and you start kicking them, dude, fucking do this to them. Don't just the police, like, good thing that they did this. If that's the case, then, like, because what else are you gonna do? Like, you can't do anything else but physically arrest them, take them out, deal with them, right? Could they have been a little excessive? Maybe. But if this is all true, everything that we just read, and what the RCMP are coming out with, then the group of teenagers are fuckers that should have deserved this, probably. And it sucks that, a bunch of people are stupid enough to believe this without any evidence, right? It's only showing one side of the story. So I think that I'm not taking any side. This could all be bullshit as well, because I haven't released footage. But one thing the RCMP said is, this is a perfect example of why you cannot jump to conclusions. And that's exactly what I was saying. So I've met many police officers that are very nice people. Well, I've met some that aren't very nice people. So it all comes down to who the person is as an officer and what you're working with, right? So my closing statement for this is that you shouldn't believe everything you see online, and it sucks that this has happened, but you really got to, like, don't jump the gun, really. Like, listen to RCMP when it comes to that. Don't make conclusions about the incident. Like Justin was saying, one of the officers were saying they asked them to leave, and they wouldn't leave. But these people are saying they were told to stay in the McDonald's, and that they're being detained. But the officers are saying completely different. They're saying they were asked to leave, they wouldn't leave. That's what the sergeant said. So they were swearing all that, like, if everything they said online from the victim's perspective was fake and all bullshit, dude, you're such a douchebag. Like, if that's all fake, oh my god. At the end of the day, I don't care. Like, this, I don't care. I mean, it sucks that it happened because you don't like to see people get hurt online, and I don't like to see violence like this when it's not necessary, or maybe it was necessary. I don't know. Like I said, I don't care. That's my closing statement. It sucks that this has happened, and I hope everything gets sorted out soon. Anything you want to say?
No, I think, you pretty much said everything I want to say, so, yeah. Okay, so I guess, we can move on to Copper Drop. So the ones that I pulled up here are the Nike Air Max Scorpion, in the golden wheat colors. So basically we got, Nike Air Max Scorpion. I don't even know what these are, but they look so weird. Like, Vapor Maxes, like, I don't know if you've seen them before, but they're just like a bunch of little bubbles. And like, you kind of get used to them if you've seen them before, but these just look so tall and like long. Like, they look kind of cool, but like this bottom like bubble part, I don't know, man. Yeah, so for these shoes, the Nike Air Max Scorpion, I'd say drop, just because I think the bubbles like are just too big. Like, I think maybe if the bubbles like didn't go all the way, like they weren't so big, maybe like that.
Yeah, like
kinda.
I was saying, like, it looks like a rollerblade.
Yeah, like
or
a
like
rollerblade
some sort of like
Mars
heel,
shoe or something.
or even like those cartoon shoes with the springs that you jump up.
Yeah, spring shoes or something.
Yeah, it looks like it could be that. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, I'd say drop. So.
Okay, well, I got another Copper Drop. This is definitely new. Okay, so we got okay. This is something different that we have. We don't really show. We're normally doing sneakers and stuff, but
yeah, we got some boots here. All right, so do you want to explain it a little bit?
Okay, so this looks like almost like country. Would you say it can?
Yeah.
It can be
Almost like cowboy boot. type of
cowboy.
thing,
Yeah.
Work boot.
Yeah. I'm saying cop because I can make this work. I could put this with something that would make it look good. Like
Yeah.
I have some things in mind.
Yeah.
Nice leather there. Look at that. Oh, it's
Yeah,
kind
look
of.
at that, and a little like distressing on the side.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying cop.
I'd say drop for me personally, just cause like I don't know, I don't really wear boots, and I don't have
Yeah.
anything that would really match that. But like maybe I don't know. I think maybe I could make something work, but I'm just not much of a boots guy. Like more
Yeah.
so sneakers. But hey, maybe in the winter when it gets colder and I need like a nice, I don't know, work boot or something like that, maybe I'll buy a pair or something. So
There you go. And buy these. No, I'm joking.
yeah. All right. Okay, so on to our last topic here. Have you seen the Drake and like 21 Savage, like the memes about their song,
A
like
little
Rich
bit.
Flex? So basically, there's just kind of like trend going around, and basically, it's at the part where Drake's talking 21 about, he's like, 21, can you do something for me? And basically, people are going around making memes about it and like just I don't know, making fun of the rapper because he sounds super like zesty. Basically, like he sounds like he's like I don't know. It just sounds really weird. And so people are making a bunch of like viral parodies, and yeah, I think it's just pretty funny. Like there's this clip, with 21 and Kai Sanat, and 21 sees it, like, and he's just like shaking his head. He's like, "Come on, man." He's like, he's just like laughing, but. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I think the trend's pretty funny. So yeah, what do you think about it?
I haven't seen much of it, so I can't really comment
Yeah.
honestly. Is it a good song?
Yeah, I mean,
I think I've
honestly,
heard
the
of it.
whole album, like I've been listening to it quite a bit recently, and I think like from listening to it like over and over again, and just kind of like I don't know, like honestly, like when people say like, "Oh, this album's mid, this album's bad," blah blah, like you have to listen to the album like quite a bit. Like you have to have it on replay and just like listen to it. And like at first, I thought, it's all right, like it was not his best, but then
That's with a lot of songs, is that
yeah,
you get used to.
I think the more you listen to it, you kind of grow to appreciate it. So like one of my favorite songs on the album is "Middle of the Ocean." So that one's pretty good. That one's probably one of my favorite. "Privileged Rapper" is another good one. Yeah, and there's a whole lot more. But I think it's actually a pretty solid album. And if you haven't listened to it yet, you should definitely go ahead and listen to it because there's some good songs on it. And yeah, so yeah, I guess that's everything for topics. So
I think so. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, it's been another good episode. Thank you guys for listening, watching, whatever you're doing. Thank you if you made it this far, and we'll see you guys in the next episode on 130.
Peace.